Hey, Drew, Molly, Connor, how's it going? Kathleen, ready?
Hey, Todd.
Let's shoot this.
Yeah, you know, we're actually filming a plenary today.
Yeah, let's do it.
This isn't a Zoom call, Todd.
What?
Yeah, they can see your hot pink shorts. Gotta put some pants on.
Crap. This is not good.
No, I don't think the hot pink shorts are gonna work.
Oh, I'm gonna have to call Mar. Can we hold for a sec? Well, I'll be right back. I'm gonna
Okay.
call my wife.
Sounds good.
So we're filming today, and I need you to bring me some pants. Yeah, I forgot them.
Can you tell me your name, the spelling, and your title and what you do?
I am Randy Hicks, A-R. I don't know how to spell my name.
We are rolling on mark.
Yeah. And don't forget to smile.
Because you open the ball on these people, you better prepare. The worst point.
A home health
Oh.
That's good.
What was the question again?
What is it?
What was the question again?
Can I think about that for a second?
Oh, and now yeah, it's like you.
Is there anything that happened? That was fabulous.
Annual meeting!
I don't know.
God dang
What the hell? I thought I was a smart human being.
Stop laughing!
We are.
Oh, Lord. I did not sign up for this.
I'm not putting this on my head. Are you kidding me?
Are you serious?
Oh, stop it. There is no Tony, only Saul.
Does he have to look at me? That seems like that's part of the problem.
Don't look me in the eye.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry.
Don't look at me.
You're the one looking at me.
You looking at me? You looking at me?
A piece of me?
It's so hard.
Can I not say crap? Sorry.
Here's Johnny.
Hark! There is no such time as this.
Hey.
You can extort me with all this footage. Please don't use that.
Hallelujah.
This interview's over.
Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Davidson and Kathleen O'Hearn.
Welcome to the awards luncheon at the 28th SPN virtual annual meeting. In our final plenary session, you are the stars of the show. We're going to celebrate your big accomplishments this year.
I collected 1,500 rolls of toilet paper.
Todd, that's called hoarding. And nobody cares. We're talking about policy impact today.
My mom was impressed.
Okay, Todd, let's get serious. It's been a tough year, but it's been a big year for states.
The Bob Williams Awards are evidence of that. Just from these submissions alone, we know that you reached over 30 million Americans with your messages and ideas.
To enact an unprecedented 75 policy reforms.
That improved the lives of millions of Americans.
All of this impact was possible because of great leaders that kept our heads held high when times were tough and our eyes focused on the path ahead.
Please welcome State Policy Network President and CEO, Tracy Sharp.
Welcome, Tracy Sharp.
Thanks, Todd and Kathleen. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of State Policy Network's 28th annual meeting, our first to be presented virtually. It's one of the ways we've adapted to help us connect, collaborate, and accelerate with you during this time. Times of disruption can be opportunities depending on how we respond to it. In a way, it reminds me of when our family first moved to California over 20 years ago. We had to find a new home, new jobs, and establish a new social network in an area that was culturally very different from the homogenous cities of Portland and Seattle, areas I had lived most of my life. That year of change was hard for me. I didn't want to stay in California. I wanted to go back to the place and time I knew before. Until a trusted friend challenged me saying, "Tracy, if you don't want to sink, you better figure out how to swim." In other words, I needed to adapt. I needed to build new muscles, so to speak, and train myself to thrive in California. I also needed help, so my friends were with me as I tried new things, met new people, and built relationships on trust. I asked a lot of questions and made many mistakes, and over time came to see the opportunities and innovation all around me. I don't know if I'll live in California forever, but I do know it's taught me a lot. It's given me the gift of perspective, and sink or swim, it helped me get out of my bubble. Many leaders in this network recognize, whether we like it or not, that change is upon us. And the sooner we can embrace that reality, which means expanding our understanding and relationships, the sooner we can adapt and forge ahead. For sure, it's already happening. What sets our network apart are leaders who, instead of clinging to old ways, are pivoting in areas like healthcare reform to protect communities and save lives, in education reform to put children first, and getting to the root causes behind economic and social inequity of opportunity. We also have state-based litigators who have dramatically shifted resources to protect our civil liberties. Our network is different because we're closer to the action and the people we're trying to help. As you'll see from the upcoming Bob Williams Awards, there are great examples where our network highlights those personally affected by the good policies we're promoting or those bad ones we're trying to stop. For sure, turbulent currents are at work in the policy debate right now, some that threaten to erode the bedrock of our American experiment. If we're going to learn to swim through these waters ahead, let's all seize the opportunity to build more trust and alliances outside our bubble, reaching wider audiences. I'm inspired by this network, by leaders who won't sink or be swept away by the currents of change. We are adapting to swim in it and power through it, to transcend the current polarity, and with our ideas and solutions, knit our communities back together. Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Our network was built for such a time as this.
We have a long history of bootstrapping our way out of problems in this country.
Our work has never been more crucial than it is right now.
We knew it was important to sort of counter-program against that big government narrative and prove there's a better way than simply letting government take over.
I think the way we're going to lift regulations is by being laser focused on any regulations that get in the way of people re-entering the workforce.
Let's look at some tax reform ideas for the next 2 years to give businesses immediate relief.
That's our mission, is to get in and help the little guy push back whenever the government is doing something that in my mind is crazy.
The Overton window is upon us in terms of being able to advocate for more school choice.
We're passing policy that actually impacts lives in very, very real ways.
We can play a distinctive leadership role by elevating the stories of individual Americans. It makes a lot of sense for an organization that's a proud member of this network, because that's precisely why we get up every day.
I think that the administration has seen that, and they've taken our solutions and put them into action because they trust us.
We're here. We're ready.
In communities.
In our states.
In every state.
We're ready for whatever comes next.
Thanks to you, SPN was built for this moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kathleen O'Hearn.
As any parent who spent the last few months balancing work and remote learning knows, this year we have stared disruption in the face. Sometimes we won, and sometimes we had a naked toddler running through the background of our Zoom calls. However, there's a silver lining to all this disruption. Disruption and innovation go hand in hand. This network has had a long-term passion for education reform, and we've seen some amazing progress this year. With the Institute for Justice Espinosa case at the Supreme Court, opening the floodgates for school choice across this country, and at the local level with the SAFE grants promoted by Palmetto Promise Institute, helping working parents when they need it the most. You don't have to look at the United States rankings to know we have a lot of work to do when it comes to educating our kids. We feel it in our everyday lives, we see it in our communities. I have a 3-year-old who's starting preschool this year, hopefully, and I'm paying attention more than ever to the state of education. I want the best education possible for her, for every kid in this country. And this network was created to be problem solvers, to work with our communities, to innovate, to create a better path forward. This year, SPN partnered with the Root Foundation to launch the first ever Ed Prize. Ed Prize was designed to incentivize ambitious innovation solutions in education policy, for flexible learning models, for more transparency in how the money is spent, and to improve student performance. And we put a large financial incentive to this. We received over 30 ideas from this network on how to transform education from the states up. We put together an all-star panel of judges that included an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a longtime educator, and a policy expert. I'm so pleased to announce this year's Ed Prize winners for a grand total of $45,000 each, the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, who will increase access to online and blended learning opportunities with their idea to allow families to purchase educational content outside their district. And the Alaska Policy Forum, who set forward an ambitious project to change how Alaska funds education by tying it directly to outcomes. Congratulations to this year's 2020 Ed Prize winners.
It's an honor to receive this year's Ed Prize Award. Our vision is an educational system that works for every child, and we are so gratified to work with other strong and courageous allies and colleagues in the movement. I know that working together, we can advance even more, even through times as difficult as these. Our history on choice goes back more than 30 years, advancing charter schools and universal tuition tax credits. And now we're ready to take the next step. Our gratitude goes out to the Roop Foundation and other donors of the State Policy Network who made this recognition possible. Thank you.
At Alaska Policy Forum, we work to build an Alaska that continuously grows prosperity by maximizing individual opportunities and freedom.
Despite the challenges our state and entire country have faced this year, we have a huge chance to improve our educational system.
Thank you to State Policy Network for this opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Davidson.
This year has been tough. We've had a rampant virus, social unrest, tornadoes, floods, and even murder hornets. 2020 has had a lot of scary moments. I'm reminded of a great Mr. Rogers quote. Mr. Rogers said, "When there are scary things on the news, look for all the helpers. Look at all the people helping." Fortunately, to see the helpers, all I had to do was look around this network. I saw individuals like Joanna Holberg of Empower, Mississippi. When her grandfather fell ill with COVID, she was by his side caring for him, knowing full well she was putting herself at risk. Or when floods devastated Midland, Michigan, the men and women at Mackinac, they finally untied their ties. They laced up their work boots to shovel mud and debris out of the home of their teammates. You didn't just help with community service. You all helped by doing what you do best, advancing much needed policy reforms. And this year's Bob Williams submissions reflect just that. There were so many examples of you and your teams responding to the needs of your communities and saving lives and livelihoods. We appropriately named these awards after Bob Williams, a policy legend. Last year, I told you the story of how Bob Williams led the policy response to the great Mount St. Helens disaster. The submissions for these awards follow that consistent theme of you all responding to the crisis in your states and communities with much needed policy reforms. We have 4 awards, and we'll give them out in this order: Most Influential Research, Best Issue Campaign, Biggest Home State Win, and Biggest Win for Freedom. The way these awards work, you submit the nominations. A committee whittles those down to 3 finalists in each category, and then there's a public vote for you and all of your supporters to select the winners. And the results are in. Here are the 3 finalists for the Bob Williams Award for Most Influential Research.
Alabama Policy Institute for Healthy Citizenry, Healthy Economy, Healthy Society. Alabama Policy Institute's research outlined a framework to help state leaders balance public health concerns and the protection of civil liberties and economic well-being. The Governor's Reopening Task Force and the Alabama Department of Labor used their research to respond to the challenges posed by COVID-19. Beacon Center for Reforming Tennessee's Public Assistance Programs. While auditing the state's welfare system, the Beacon Center found over $1 billion of improperly allocated funds. Their discovery sparked a statewide conversation about reforms that could lower taxes, spur economic growth, and help those in need. Pioneer Institute for Informing the COVID-19 Response and Reopening Strategy. With proposals that appeared in over 500 media outlets, Pioneer Institute positioned themselves as a go-to resource for the governor and policymakers. They provided a slate of reforms to develop digital learning, expand telehealth, and support Massachusetts' economy during COVID-19.
And the winner is Alabama Policy Institute.
Hello, my name is Phil Williams with the Alabama Policy Institute. And on behalf of the staff and the board of directors at API, we want to thank SPN for this great honor. This project has been one that we have been very proud of, and one of several where we have watched government make decisions at rapid rates, and we've been right there in the mix. And in this particular case, we were able to see government change its direction in a matter of 24 hours. And that meant the world to us, and it means even more that SPN has chosen to recognize it. I think it also, though, shows how important that SPN affiliates are nationwide. And so as Alabama Policy Institute and all of you are doing our work, hang in there. And we look forward to seeing you in person sometime real soon.
And here are the 3 finalists for the Bob Williams Award for Best Issue Campaign.
Center of the American Experiment for Back to Work Minnesota. Using billboards, videos, and social media, the Back to Work Minnesota campaign spread the message of balancing economic and public health needs to Minnesotans. Minnesota responded and sent over 51,000 emails to their governor and legislators. Because of their response, their campaign loosened restrictions in their state and helped Minnesotans. Illinois Policy Institute for Exposing the Economic and Human Costs of Illinois' Lockdown. Through stories of people struggling to survive, this campaign revealed the real-life impact of the pandemic shutdown in Illinois. Numerous media outlets featured these stories, and their website attracted 1.5 million people. IPI also generated a grassroots campaign of over 37,000 emails to policymakers. Mackinac Center for Pushing Back Against Michigan's Arbitrary Lockdown Rules. To reveal the arbitrary nature of Michigan's extensive lockdown, the Mackinac Center created a cartoon series illustrating the drastic range of restrictions across similar occupations and activities. This campaign tripled the audience for their Opportunity Michigan newsletter. Coincidentally, changes of these restrictions occurred after each cartoon was released.
And the winner is Center of the American Experiment.
Thanks to SPN for making Back to Work Minnesota the best issue campaign of the past year. We really appreciate it. And thanks to all of our wonderful staff, and thanks to our friends and supporters who voted for Center of the American Experiment to win this award. Thank you very much.
And here are your 3 finalists for the Bob Williams Award for Biggest Home State Win.
Idaho Freedom Foundation for seizing the moment for property tax reform. Idaho residents will save up to $200 million this year in property taxes thanks to the Idaho Freedom Foundation. Using research and infrastructure from their 2019 campaign, they highlighted governmental ways to property tax. They also identified how CARES Act dollars would eclipse the state budget, protecting citizens from a massive spending increase and higher taxes later on. Kansas Policy Institute for Litigation to Protect Civil Liberty. Kansas Policy Institute successfully litigated against measures giving government unprecedented power and access to private information through contact tracing. They received support from across the political spectrum and were cited by the Kansas Attorney General to stop similar programs. Yankee Institute for Positioning Connecticut's Economy to Weather the Pandemic. In addition to helping establish a commission on reopening Connecticut, Yankee Institute secured multiple victories for liberty, including an unemployment tax reduction, occupational licensing reform, and protection for houses of worship. Through their beam of light stories, they highlighted acts of kindness. Yankee Institute proved the best defense is a good offense to protect Connecticut.
And the winner is Yankee Institute for Public Policy.
All of us at Yankee Institute are grateful and honored to accept the Bob Williams Award for Biggest Home State Win. As residents of a fairly blue state where every victory is hard fought, this award means the world to us, and we thank our friends at SPN for this wonderful recognition. Of course, nothing we do would be possible without the vision and generosity of our many partners across Connecticut and beyond. In a very real sense, this award is actually theirs. I am also deeply grateful for the dedicated and tenacious colleagues I work with every single day. Their commitment to excellence is an inspiration. At Yankee Institute, it is simply our good fortune that it falls to us to remind the people of Connecticut, the Constitution state, of their heritage of liberty, and to give them confidence that it can be secured once again. The Bob Williams Award only redoubles our determination to press on until everyone in Connecticut is truly free to succeed. On behalf of Yankee Institute, thank you.
And now for the 3 finalists of the Bob Williams Award for the Biggest Win for Freedom.
Alaska Policy Forum 4 opting in to expand workplace freedom. Alaska Policy Forum gave more Alaskan government employees a voice and a choice by highlighting the role of states to enact an opt-in provision of the Janus versus AFSCME decision. This big win sets a precedent that other states can follow to restore and strengthen workers' First Amendment rights. Commonwealth Foundation 4, Justice Reform Act 2.0. The Commonwealth Foundation's leadership helped Pennsylvania overhaul its trouble probation system so former criminals can now pursue meaningful contributions to society. This big win was a 5-year effort to demonstrate the success of the 2012 Justice Reinvestment Initiative Part 1 and build bipartisan support for further reform. States around the country now have a new model for criminal justice reform. Goldwater Institute 4, breaking down barriers to work across the country. Through its efforts to pass universal licensing recognition, the Goldwater Institute made it easier for licensed workers across the country to join the Arizona workforce. They continue to work on expanding universal licensing recognition in other states to empower workers everywhere.
And the winner is Commonwealth Foundation.
The Commonwealth Foundation team is thrilled to accept the Bob Williams Award for biggest win for our work on criminal justice reform.
On behalf of our whole Commonwealth Foundation team, not just the people you just saw on the screen, but also the thousands of people across our state, the state where Bob Williams was born, who make our work possible. We are so proud to be recognized with this year's Bob Williams Award for the biggest win. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations to all of this year's winners of the Bob Williams Awards. And now, Kathleen O'Hearn will present this year's Network Awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kathleen O'Hearn.
The Network Award celebrates when we come together to do something bigger than we could do in part, to do the impossible. I will never forget the moment I received a text message from my dear friend, Rachel Barkley, that said, "I'm in the hospital, I can't move one of my legs, and we don't know what's wrong." This was 3 months after delivering a healthy baby boy. Rachel is an important part of this network and SPN. She put together much of the policy content you've experienced over the last several days for this annual meeting. Turns out Rachel had a huge tumor inside her spinal cord. And after a 9-hour surgery, they were able to remove it, but it left her with the inability to walk and limited function in her arms. She faced challenges that most of us can't even imagine. Rachel took a what if I can approach. And when I would talk to Rachel during this time, the thing that really struck me was that some days, most days, she felt like there was no progress being made, but she never gave up hope. And she kept working towards her goal. She kept having that what if I can approach. And almost 1 year to the day, Rachel walked up the stairs in her house for the first time. Rachel's story inspires me to what is possible when we take the approach of what if we can. She never gave up hope. She surrounded herself with helpers to accomplish the unimaginable. In March, our world was turned upside down when the coronavirus hit the United States. Policymakers were faced with a critical question. How can we ready our healthcare system? And as the virus started to spread in those early days, states took massive action to remove state-level regulations to let healthcare innovation flourish. Healthcare reform? It has not been an easy road. 10 years ago, Obamacare was passed, and for those of us on the free market side, we felt a lot like Rachel felt in those early rehab days. This feels impossible, and we are making no progress. But then a group of state experts came together and said, what if we can? The healthcare working group started shortly after Obamacare passed with a simple mission. States should be a mechanism for change in healthcare. States can offer an alternative pathway. So these bright minds in healthcare came together and created a toolbox of policy ideas that would expand access, reduce costs, and provide better patient experiences. When the crisis hit, they were able to quickly look through all those policy ideas and identify the top policies that would have an impact, that would allow states to rise up and respond to the threat using market principles and the power of human ingenuity. Who here remembers seeing a picture of Georgia doctors flying to New York City? They're all making the heart symbol with their hands. When I look at this picture, I see two things. One, these guys are heroes. They're flying into the heart of the epidemic to help. And two is pride, because I know and you know that plane full of doctors would not have been possible without that policy groundwork laid to allow doctors to practice across state lines. The only reason those doctors and others like them could get on those planes was because of reforms from this network. This image and that picture was a beautiful illustration of how policy changes lives and how this network is changing lives. And instead of the normal years it would take to move healthcare policy, more happened in 17 days in March to unleash innovation in healthcare and unshackle it from the years of regulation. 40 states took action on one of those recommendations put forward by the working group. Over half of those were influenced by a state think tank. This network was ready to spring into action because of the years of groundwork by these early pioneers that we are honoring today, who took the hard road and, just like Rachel, said, yes, we can. Today, I'm so proud to recognize these individuals and organizations' accomplishments with the Network Award. The people who laid the groundwork for the massive amounts of deregulation and healthcare innovation that has happened this year. The winners of the 2020 SPN Network Award are the Buckeye Institute, the Foundation for Government Accountability, the Goldwater Institute, the James Madison Institute, the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, Mississippi Center for Public Policy, Oklahoma Council of Public Affairs, and the Show Me Institute. Please join me in congratulating this year's 2020 Network Award winners.
Preparation and commitment are keys to success. And thanks to the preparation and commitment of the Healthcare Working Group, nurses can treat more patients in Ohio. Charity medical groups can now serve patients in our state's borders. Doctors, through telehealth, have more freedom to see patients. The Healthcare Working Group has gone from meeting in a side room at Cato to the West Wing at the White House and racked up a string of victories across the nation. Our team at the Buckeye Institute would like to thank the State Policy Network and the vision of Kathleen O'Hearn and all those who fought for better health care for this award.
On behalf of the team at FGA, I want to thank SPN and the other SPN groups accepting this award. We have had the privilege of working alongside many of these groups in their home states to push back against Medicaid expansion and other innovative healthcare reforms. I personally have enjoyed being part of this group of happy warriors, which includes Naomi at Goldwater and Patrick at Show Me. Thank you.
On behalf of my Goldwater Institute colleagues, thank you to the State Policy Network for this award. And if I may speak on behalf of the Healthcare Working Group members, I'd like to thank Kathleen O'Hearn. It was her original vision and leadership when she assembled the original Healthcare Working Group in early 2014 that is responsible for the outsized impact that we have had over the years. And it goes without saying, I think, that the impact of this group is even more important today in the midst of this global pandemic than it ever has been.
On behalf of the CEO and the great team at the James Madison Institute, I'd like to thank SPN for this award. Over my years as a policy nerd, I've discovered that when we work together, we can accomplish so much more than we ever thought possible. It's an honor and a privilege to get to work with a coalition of think tank partners and experts from across the country.
On behalf of the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, I am humbled and honored to accept this year's Network Award. Approximately 8 years ago, SPN assembled individuals from across the network who would challenge the movement to advance bold, free market ideas in healthcare. During that time, we've weathered our share of triumphs and defeats, but we've remained committed to ensuring that the network was prepared for critical inflection points. When COVID-19 struck, we were ready. Our ideas were among the first that governors, both progressive and conservative, pulled off the shelf. I'd especially like to thank Justin Owen and the Beacon Center for empowering me to first join SPN's Healthcare Working Group. Joe Lehman and Mike Reitz at the Mackinac Center for continuing to invest in this critical work. And SPN, you've truly made us stronger together.
We don't have a fancy name, and we don't seek credit for what we do, but the Healthcare Working Group has quietly changed the history of American healthcare. We've held back Medicaid expansion in several states. We've offered free market alternatives to Obamacare. And when COVID-19 hit, we were there on the ground with concrete solutions to help America get through this crisis.
On behalf of OCPA, I just want to give a big thank you to SPN for this award and for also putting together our Healthcare Working Group. We have the best team, and I just want to thank everyone in the group who answered all of my endless questions and showed me the ropes the past couple years.
Hello, I'm Brenda Talent, CEO of the Show Me Institute. We're honored to be one of the recipients of the Network Award for our impact on healthcare policy. It's taken many years of patient work and advocacy. It's truly gratifying to see good ideas win. So let us persevere and press on as we continue the important work of spreading freedom and liberty.
Ladies and gentlemen, Todd Davidson and Kathleen O'Hearn.
That's a wrap. We did it. Congratulations to all of this year's winners.
We were inspired by you, and we're proud to work alongside you.
Got a good chance to connect and see many faces?
Virtually. I'm very much looking forward to next year's annual meeting where I see more people than just Todd.
Rude.
Even though you're great.
So we'll see you in 2021 live in Orlando, Florida.
Woo!
Here we are.
It's a great time.
See you live in Orlando in 2021.